I actually wanted to ask you guys about this because you have a platform that is controversial and you have a platform that many people wouldn't be comfortable speaking to the topics that you speak to publicly, right? And I want to know how and why you decided to live in your truth in this way, because there's so many people who are walking around this world aimlessly or following everybody else's rules, following someone else's agenda instead of deciding for themselves, like, no, this is the life I'm going to design. So where did that come from, and what brought you to the decision to be like, you know what, I'm gonna live out loud in this way?
I want a nicer answer for you, but this is the answer I have, and I think it's like the only one I can give. I think we are in an era where people really want to be famous and noted for something they do. I really think Whoreible Decisions is good because we, one, have known each other so long that there's so much chemistry there, which is why for tough times, or even if, let's just say, a guest doesn't show up, we can make an episode like that. It's because we know how to talk to each other. But I just don't think we tried hard. And it's truly authentic. I also didn't feel like I was talking to millions of people. I'm just talking to Mandii. Like, I actually still think that sometimes, where I'm like, oh, I should take that out. Because no matter if we talk every day or not, I'm still just telling Mandii the story. I don't look at this like I'm performing. I really don't treat the podcast like that at all. To the point where I think it's hindered me in some aspects, to where I started doing a TV show. I had trouble leading and hosting. I really just am, I'm going to do the show. And for myself, I think that has made it so easy because it was unintentional. I didn't like put forth this great effort to like be authentic. I just was doing something, you know? No video back then either.
I mean, yeah, and to me, I think it's like I figure out 8 Mile myself. You know, like in 8 Mile when Eminem came out and just said everything that he knew his opponent was going to tell about him. Like, I know the decisions I make, and I'm also very clear that what's done in the dark will come to light. I know that some people will be in my life for only seasons. And so however I show up, whatever anyone's experience is, that's their experience with me. No one's perfect. And I think I'm just fine in living in my imperfection and kind of growing and learning from my mistakes in front of everyone.
Even in the show, you got to think too, there's so many times where like we'll say something and we change our minds, but it's just age. You know what I mean? Like, you mature out of a certain
innocence. Also, I think leaves you a bit.
Well, I used to like hate feet. Now I put toes in my mouth. Like,
I think
there's progression.
The one.
Oh no, therapy for sure. I've been in therapy for the last 3 years weekly. Very expensive, by the way. But that has gotten me to dig into like a lot of my traumas.
No, I was going to say you didn't like therapy at first.
Oh, that too. Oh yeah. If you go to like our first year, I used to think that anyone who went to therapy just didn't know themselves and needed someone to tell them who they were. And now I've been in therapy for 3 years, and it's just been so transformative to how I navigate communication and like literally my interpersonal relationships with everyone else. And it's also a mirror of how I can be a better person. And yeah, year one, I was like, bitch, therapy, y'all bitches just need someone to tell you who you are. Y'all don't know yourself. And so, yeah, that's another thing that's definitely changed over the years.
Okay. So what I'm hearing is that you guys were young when you first started the podcast.
I mean, 26.
20, yeah, but 26 the
Is that young?
decisions you
26
make
and 33 is a big gap,
yeah,
actually.
I think so.
I don't think 26 is young though. Like if we started the pod at 22, like I even feel like that's a different jump. Like where I was in my sexual journey,
you know what?
At 22 is different than 26.
Because I think what made us not too young, we were in corporate workforce, and I feel like that kind of aged us.
Yeah, that definitely mature you up.
That
real
made
quick.
me feel, but when I say it, I do say actually that I started Whoreible Decisions young too. Because now the way that I'm talking about sex, relationships, and dating slightly shifted. I was not saying I'm not emotional now, but the confusion about men and like the crying and I didn't realize it was desperation more than what it is now is a patriarchal thing. I have to be dating this type of person. I have to have a boyfriend. I have to have this. Like, I snapped out of it, you know?
So what's really interesting about both of your stories is you both were in corporate and transitioned out into this media landscape. So How did you make that transition? A lot of our audience is in corporate who are aspiring to become an entrepreneur. Many of them have just left corporate and are trying to figure things out. And others are like, F corporate for life. I'm not working at all. So at what point did you decide that you no longer needed corporate and you were going to double down on you?
For me, we were doing live shows, and I made my salary in 5 months with what we were doing. And so when I saw what I was able to make, I came from an accounting background, so I was at a Big Four, and I was working 70-hour weeks, especially during like busy season. And so to me, I was like, wow, I'm giving someone else 70 hours a week. If I put that time into me, I wonder, what I could do. Now, to me, especially coming from a family that, didn't have money, a savings was a big thing for me. So I didn't just see that I made the money and quit immediately. I said I want at least a $10,000 savings account. And at the time, I wanted to buy all new furniture for my house. This was the first time that I was no longer living with a roommate. So I had 2 bedrooms and I had a whole house to myself. So that was the thing that I did before I completely quit my job. And so I would say I stayed for maybe 2 or 3 more months, put in my 2 weeks, did it the normal way still, because I didn't want any bad blood, and I quit. Ironically, though, 8 months later, the pandemic happened. So I was like, it was a Hail Mary. I ended up starting new business.
8 months later.
8 months later. I quit in July. Whole world was shut down in March.
Damn, it felt like you quit way before that.
No, I quit in July of 2019.
I quit a little bit earlier.
You quit a little bit before me. You quit in like March or April.
Now, I had a bit of I had a sugar daddy that not when I quit, but for the first year of me living in New York, I paid no rent, and I was given money by him to learn how to build a stock portfolio. And the more that I got good at it, the more he gave, because he just was very invested in me being able to do it on my own. So my savings was crazy. And to the point where I was super lucky to be able to do that. But my answer is pretty much the same. Like, the trajectory of Whoreible was not as fast as a corporate climb. For me, I was account exec, sales engineer, working in telecommunications and data disaster recovery, shit like that, Salesforce type of stuff. And basically what was happening was, okay, if I stay at this job another 3 years, I'll get this promotion. Maybe I'll get an increase of this much money. Whoreible was going faster than that.
It was definitely going
so
faster.
I just knew sales, I'll just come back whenever. Honestly, all of my colleagues at the time were in their 40s and 50s. So because they were older, I'm like, this job lasts forever. Mm-hmm. I'll just come back if I had to. And so the leap of faith was a good one to take.
Especially when you have a sugar daddy.
Yeah. But he left me before.
Yeah, he wasn't even around.
He wasn't around. I just had a really good cushion, and he taught me so much. Like, the sugar daddy shit, it's funny because I don't even know if there's a bag he ever got me. Clothes and stuff, yeah, but like, to not pay rent in New York for a year. By the way,
right,
I got a few friends like that right now with guys. They're still spending too much. Like, I was really diligent. Thank God I was responsible. Like, I really did a good job at knowing, like, oh, I'm not spending $2,500, and this is back then, $3,000 in rent. I'll put it away. Like, literally was saving it. And yeah, I'm really grateful for that experience. And I think Mandii and I quitting, though, people always want to ask us this question, but they don't realize we did the job and Whoreible for a long time.